Yes, good morning. So, welcome to our online class for CET and NEET. This is Sukumar. I'm speaking. I have given, I share my topic on screen. Can you see now? Anybody? Please see. Now, just I will give introduction regarding human reproduction. First of all, reproduction is a physiological process in which organisms give birth to young ones of its own kind. Generally, reproduction occurs in two types, asexual and sexually. In sexual method, gametes are produced. ಸರ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಹೌದಾ, ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಆ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು? ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ, ಕೇಳಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನು. ನೋಡಿ ನೀವು ಬಂದಿದಲ್ವ ಈಗ? ನೋಡಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ.
Yes, sir. We can see.
I can listen. Okay. But sorry. Okay. I will continue. Okay. Hello. I am sharing my screen. Can you see now? Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Welcome. Dear students, in this session, I am going to discuss on human reproduction. Just listen carefully. Just I will give synopsis on this topic and human reproductive health also. First of all, human reproduction starts with 5 stages. Which are the 5 stages? First of all, gametogenesis, then insemination, then fertilization, implantation, gestation, parturition, and last one is lactation. Okay, so that is the main reproductive stages that occurs in human. First of all, in male, testes are the male reproductive organ, and female having ovaries, they are reproductive organs in female. Main function of testis production of sperm by process of spermatogenesis. Once the male child starts growing at the age of 13 to 14, it becomes maturity, that we call as puberty. At the stage, when changes occurs in that male. What is the changes? Deep voice, growth of facial hairs, formation of Adam's apple, then testis starts production of sperms, like that. Muscular development, aggressive behavior, all these secondary sexual characters begins at the time of maturity. And in female also, some changes we see, that is growth of breast, that is mammary gland develops, pelvic become broad, fat deposit in the body, high pitch voice, and one process begins that we call as menstrual cycle. So these are the process we see in male and females. Okay. After that, process begins of gametogenesis. Next step is insemination. What is insemination? There is a sexual intercourse. That means the act between male and female to transfer the semen into female reproductive tract that we called as sexual intercourse. So during that period, sperms released into vagina of the female by male. Within 11 minutes, that act will be completed. After that, what happens? Fertilization. Okay. In the fertilization period, what happens? The sperms fuses with egg inside the fallopian tube. After that, the zygote is formed. Okay. That is the next step. After zygote formation, generally, that zygote undergo division and develop up to blastocyst. Later on, this blastocyst get implanted in the uterine wall. So that period is called as pregnancy. After that, the pregnancy, the fetus start growing inside the mother womb up to 9 months. Then at the time, embryogenesis and organogenesis occurs. After that, last stage is birth of the baby. So these are the major reproductive events we see in human. Okay. But I give some introduction regarding female and female reproductive system with diagram. Look at this. This is one diagrammatic representation of male reproductive system. Actually, male reproductive system consists of 4 major parts. One is testes here. Second one, male accessory genital ducts. Which are the ducts? I will show one by one. And male accessory genital glands and penis. These are the 4 major parts in male reproductive system. Especially testes. We have 2 testes. Actually, male having 2 testes. They are reproductive organs. They are present outside the body and protected by a sac called as scrotum. Why scrotum enclosed testes in male? Why testes are present outside the body? Everyone knows for the production of sperm, testes should reduce, maintain less than the body temperature up to 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade. That's why they are located outside the body and protected by a sac called as scrotum. Okay. Then function of testis, production of sperm. Let us see what happened next. Then male accessory genital ducts. It starts with seminiferous tubules inside the testis. Then retate testis, a group of seminiferous tubules that opens into vasa efferentia. From the vasa efferentia, it opens to epididymis. Then epididymis is connected to another tube called as vas deferens. From the vas deferens, it opens into ejaculatory duct. So ejaculate opens into urethra. So that is a common duct. Actually, urinary system we see in male because urinary bladder and ureter, that is coming from kidney, and kidney produce urine that collected in the urinary bladder that pass out to the urethra, and reproductive product whatever it produces in the male that also passes through the same passage called as urethra. Okay. Then male accessory genital gland. Which are the 3 glands? Number 1, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, and bulbourethral gland. These are the 3 accessory genital glands. What is the function of these glands? First of all, seminal vesicle secretes semen. And you know that semen is a white yellow viscous fluid. The component of semen actually it contains seminal plasma, spermatids or sperms, and fructose, calcium, and other enzymes and hormones. Prostate gland. One thing you have to remember, fructose is the carbohydrate that found only in semen, except that it is not found in any part of our body, like saliva, tears, sweat, even human milk also do not contain fructose. Okay. Then prostate gland. So this gland is single gland, but it appears just like it appears paired, but it is not paired, it is single. The function of prostate gland, production of a white or alkaline fluid. So that alkaline fluid reduces pH of semen because semen is little acidic to avoid burning sensation. So before ejaculation, one white liquid is secreted that is called as alkaline fluid secreted by prostate gland. It reduces acidic nature of semen. Bulbourethral gland, a pair of T-shaped gland present on either side of urethra. Actually, the function of bulbourethral gland secretion of mucus. That's all. Last one, penis. Penis is a copulatory organ. It is a erectable organ. The tip of the penis called gland penis. This one, and is covered with a skin called as foreskin. So this point is enough for male reproductive system. Next, I will move on to female reproductive system. Once again, anatomical study of testes. Just remember, inside the testes, there are numerous testicular lobules are present. These are all testicular lobules. Each lobule having a number of seminiferous tubules. They are coil structures. They are present inside the testicular lobule. Seminiferous tubules are the basic structural and functions of testes where sperms are produced. And all the seminiferous tubules opens into common duct. It is a place we call as irritate testes. Then irritate testes opens into a network of tubules called as vasa efferentia. Then it opens to epididymis. So where sperms are stored. After that, it opens to vas deferens. So that is the general anatomical structure of testes. And you have to remember one important covering membrane is called as tunica albuginea. Okay. Next. Another anatomical study of testes. So whenever by taking transverse section of testes and observe under microscope, you will see the following part. It is having number of seminiferous tubules like this. These seminiferous tubules composed of two types of cells. They are called as germinal cells and Sertoli cells. So there are Sertoli cells are present in larger size and germinal cells are smaller but diploid in nature. The main function of germinal cell production of sperms by process of spermatogenesis. Once the male child at the time of maturity, hormone is secreted from the pituitary, that is FSH and LH, that stimulates the follicles for the production of sperm. Then in that male, the spermatogenesis begins. So the main function of germinal cell, production of haploid sperms. And Sertoli cell function is providing nourishment. That means it gets the moisture and temperature and other minerals and nutrition from the Sertoli cells. That's why the function of Sertoli cell providing nourishment. Other than this, in the testicular where between seminiferous tubules, you notice a number of cells are present. They are called as Leydig cells. So the function of Leydig cells, just remember, the function of Leydig cell, production of male androgen, that is testosterone. So that regulates the production of process of spermatogenesis. So that is enough for CS of testes. Okay. Next. Female reproductive part. Actually, female reproductive also consists of four major parts. One is ovary. Second one, female accessory genital duct, female accessory genital gland, and extra genitalia that is called as vulva. First of all, it is one representation to show how female reproductive systems occurs in female. First of all, ovary. Ovary or female reproductive organs. There are two ovaries are present in either side of uterus. They are unshelled almond shape actually, and each ovary connected to a tube called as oviduct or fallopian tube. So that is the function of ovary, production of ovum, that's all. Female accessory genital duct, it starts from vagina, that is vaginal passage, then cervix, there is cervical canal and also cervix, then uterine chamber or uterus in fallopian tube. So these are the female accessory genital duct. Vagina is a passage for conduction of sperm and also birth canal. At the entrance of vagina, one membrane is there that we call as hymen, Hymen. Actually, it is one indication of virginity of the female. But nowadays, some female childs are there involved in so many activities like sports activities like horse riding, swimming, cycling, etc. Because of that, it will tear up. That's why it will not indicate now. And cervix is a narrow passage between the vagina and uterus where a mucus is plugged. That mucus do not allow any pathogen to enter the uterus. So this uterus is a muscular chamber made up of smooth muscle, generally composed of three layers: outer perimetrium, middle myometrium, and inner endometrium. So this endometrium plays very important role at the time of implantation and also at the beginning of menstrual cycle. Then fallopian tube or uterine tube or oviduct. So this is connected from uterus to ovary. The wider part of fallopian tube that we call as ampulla. So this ampulla is the region where fertilization will occur, and it is having a number of finger-like projections that holds ovary. The function of this fimbriae is receiving ovum after ovulation. Then last one, female accessory genital gland and the external genitalia. So to know that, we go for another diagram here. This is one side view of female reproductive system. In this diagram, we are going to identify that glands and also other parts. So there are three accessory genital glands. What are the glands? Which are the glands? Number one, Bartholin gland. Actually, a pair of glands present on either side of this vaginal passage, but here is not mentioned. So just remember, a pair of glands are present on either side of vaginal passage. These glands secrete a viscous fluid that supports coitus or sexual intercourse. That's all. And paraurethral gland are present between the urethra. So that is one side view. Just remember, it is urinary bladder. From the urinary bladder, ureter is arrived. That urethra, only passage for removing urine, and there is a passage, vaginal passage, and connected to uterus. And below that, there is anus is there that is connected to our digestive system. And there is one expanded part is there, labia majora, labia minora. These are the two membranes. And mons pubis is the expanded part. And there is one clitoris, that is erectable organ. And okay, three glands here. Bartholin gland, function is production of viscous fluid. Paraurethral gland, function production of mucus. And mammary gland, also one of the secondary sex organ female. I will go the next in the next diagram. Next, reproductive vulva, that is external genitalia. It includes clitoris, labia majora, labia minora, and mons pubis. Okay. Next. Structure of ovary. That is also important to know. Next process. Ovary is a female reproductive organ. The function of ovary, production of ovum or egg. Each ovary connected to uterus with the mesovarian connection, and each ovary covered with germinal epithelial cells throughout the ovary. The function of germinal cell, production of egg, that is primordial follicle. That primordial follicle may cover the egg. Once the egg is produced in the ovary, they get protected by a follicular substance. They are called as, we called as, that is Grachan follicle. So at the early stage, primary follicle is formed, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle, and mature follicle is formed. Later on, that mature follicle release that ovum. That process we call as ovulation. After that releasing, that ovum is waiting for sperm at the region of ampulla. Okay. Suppose the sperm comes, it will fertilize. Otherwise, it will come out from the blood during menstrual cycle. That's all. So what happens once the Grachan follicle ruptures? That Grachan follicle converts into corpus luteum, a yellow body. It is also called as yellow body. The function of this yellow body or corpus luteum, production of two hormones. Remember, estrogen and progesterone. So that's why the inside the ovary, the corpus luteum acts like a endocrine gland. Then it secretes very important two hormones, estrogen and progesterone. Okay, this is corpus luteum. Later on, corpus luteum gradually disappears into corpus albicans. In this way, ovary generally produces ovum 1 month per 1 month. In the life period, remember, total eggs are released in the woman actually 400 up to 350 to 400. Next. Mammary gland is also one important gland. It is also comes under female accessory genital gland. It is having is a sectional view. Just observe under the just not under microscope. It can be visible so nice. It is having a projected part called as nipple, and nipple covered with a circular pigmented area called as areola. Inside the nipple, there is one common duct is there that is called as lactiferous duct. This common duct connected to a number of chambers are present. They are called as mammary ampulla. So this mammary ampulla connected to number of mammary lobes. That lobe contains a alveolar structure alveolar structure called as mammary alveolus, where milk is secreted, and this connected to a fat. That's all. So that is one side structure of mammary gland. During spermatogenesis, you know that spermatogenesis is one of process where sperms are produced. It is having different stages. Phase of multiplication. Okay. Hello. Hello. Now, there are 4 steps in spermatogenesis. One is phase of multiplication, phase of growth, and phase of maturation. And one stage is there, phase of spermatogenesis, but it is also part of maturation stage. During multiplication, what happens in the testes? There are germinal cells are there. They are called as germinal cells. They produce spermatogonia. It is diploid in nature. So this spermatogonia undergo mitosis and produces number of spermatogonia. So okay, but here it is from only one spermatogonia, but many spermatogonia produced by metasis. But at the time of growth, every spermatogonia become enlarged in size. Yes. What is Jyoti? What is your doubt? Okay. The primary spermatocyte become enlarged in size. After that, it undergoes first meiosis and divides into 2 cells. They are called as second spermatocyte. Again, the second spermatocyte undergoes second meiosis and produces haploid spermatid. So this haploid spermatid later on converts into a motile tadpole-shaped sperm. Tadpole shape means newly hatched larva from the frog egg. Once the frog hatched egg larva comes from that egg that appears just the shape of that larva we call as tadpole. That's why sperm also resemble like that tadpole. That's why the name is given tadpole shape. Okay. Next. After spermatogenesis, structure of sperm. Just I will explain one by one step by step. Sperm is a male gamete. It is having 4 parts: head, neck, the middle piece, and a tail. Head is pear-shaped, covered by plasma membrane, and the tip of the sperm is called as acrosome. Generally, acrosome plays important role at the time of fertilization, and that contains some enzymes. Actually, the name of the enzyme present in acrosome is hyaluronidase. So this enzyme plays important role at the time of penetration of egg. Then it contains the major important part is called as nucleus. So that nucleus contains the 23 chromosomes. That is haploid set of chromosomes. Whatever the character that present in male, that all character is estimated in that chromosome. Next part is neck. In this part, you notice 2 centrioles. One is proximal centriole, another distal centriole. Proximal centriole near the nucleus and distal centriole towards the middle piece. From the distal centriole, one thin filament is arrived that we call as axial filament. So this filament supports the formation of tail. And in the middle piece, there are a number of mitochondria, they are arranged circularly. So this we called as Neben curve. So what is the importance of mitochondria in this part? Mitochondria provide energy for the sperm. For the movement, the sperm requires some energy. That energy is provided by these mitochondria. Okay. Last one type, the support for proper movement of sperm. Then last one, oogenesis. It is also one process where egg is produced in the female reproductive organ, that is in ovary. Just like female once again. During oogenesis, there are 3 phases: phase of multiplication, phase of growth, and phase of maturation. These are the 3 phases. Again, in the ovary, there are germinal cells, gonial cells are present. They produce diploid primary oocyte. So this oocyte undergo mitoid division and produces a number of oocyte, that is oogonia. But it is in diploid in nature, but it undergoes haploid by process called as growth phase and maturation phase. At that time, any one oogonia become enlarged and undergo meiotic division, first meiosis and second meiosis. And during that time, polar bodies are produced, and later on, ovum is produced. So that is one general idea regarding oogenesis. Okay. Next. After oogenesis, there is one structure of egg. Here we have to remember the layer of the ovum. Actually, ovum covered with outer layer called as a rough cellular layer called as corona radiata. Inside that, a non-cellular thick layer called as zona pellucida, and inner that there is vitelline membrane, and it encloses plasma membrane. But here plasma is not mentioned. So plasma membrane encloses the cytoplasm called as ooplasm. So this ooplasm contains a prominent nucleus. Okay. So that is general structure of one female ovum or egg. Next process is fertilization. So generally fertilization is a main process where fusion of male and female gametes occurs. So at the time of fertilization, 4 steps you have to remember. Number 1, approximation of gametes. Second one, acrosome reaction. third one cortical changes, and fifth one amphimixis. So once the male and female they start their own process called as sexual intercourse, insemination occurs. At the time of insemination, some amount of semen is ejected, 5 ml, approximately 5 ml. That 5 ml semen contains million sperm. But here, most of the 60% sperms are destroyed at the time of insemination inside the vagina, and remaining 40% goes on decreasing, and only one sperm is able to fertilize the egg. There is a rule. One egg is there, but fusion is only from one sperm. So that's called as monospermia. There is a rule of fertilization. But how the egg allow only one sperm to enter that? There is a process. First step is attraction of gamete. That means egg is non-motile, okay, but sperm is the only motile. Once the insemination begins, so many sperms start moving towards the egg. Out of them, those sperm reach the egg. That sperm is only able to fertilize the egg. Once the sperm is connected to the egg, the acrosome release that enzyme. And that enzyme dissolves the wall of egg, and suddenly, once the wall is dissolved, whatever the cortical granule present inside that egg ruptures and forms a membrane. So this membrane covers throughout the egg, and it do not allow any sperm to enter the egg. That's why monospermy is maintained. Suppose if the two sperm enter, that begins in fertilization, okay, but it is abnormal growth we see in embryo. To avoid that, only one sperm is able to fertilize the egg. So this is enough for fertilization. After that, the nucleus, whatever present in the sperm, that nucleus fuses with that egg nucleus. So then we call that fertilization. After that, zygote is formed. After zygote formation, what happens? Once the zygote is formed, the process of cleavage begins. What is cleavage? Cleavage is nothing but a series of mitotic division that occurs in the zygote. That means one cell becomes two cells become four become eight becomes 16. It goes on dividing and converts into a number of cellular structure called as morula. After that, it converts into blastocyst. So this blastocyst having outermost layer called as trophoblast, inner cell mass, and there is a cavity there we called as blastocyst. So this is the process of cleavage. Just observe here. Here ovulation is beginning in the ovary. After ovulation, fertilization process starts. After fertilization, zygote is formed. Zygote dividing and slowly become 2, 4, 8 and blastocyst. And after blastocyst, it enters uterus, and inside uterus, it gets implanted. So that process we call as pregnancy. For the beginning to move toward the uterus from the ampulla region, it takes 7 days. So that is also a point you have to remember. It takes 7 days. After implantation, what happens? There is a process of implantation process. Blastocyst that they produce proteolytic enzyme. So that enzyme dissolves the wall of uterus. Then uterine wall receive that blastocyst cells, the trophoblast. Then trophoblast cells implanted in the uterus. So that generally is called as implantation. Okay. After implantation, what happens? That is development of womb. So suddenly after implantation, one connection is formed, that is placenta. That placenta is the intimate organic connection between maternal tissue and fetal tissue. So this placenta performs different functions. It supplies oxygen It supplies nutrients from mother to fetus. Then it removes nitrogen waste and other products from fetus to mother. And it acts like a temporary liver and stores excess glucose in the form of glycogen. It do not allow any toxic substances. And means another function of placenta is production of 5 hormones, that is HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, HPL, that is human placental lactogen, then relaxin, estrogen, progesterone, all these produced by placenta. Then between the placenta and fetus, there is one connection is there is umbilical cord. So that is one diagrammatic representation, actually original picture of the fetus. This membrane, that is amnion and fluid is there, amniotic fluid. So it is the general structure of fetus. After that, fully developed process gestation, a new child is produced. That is a new birth. So that is the graph representation of human reproduction. Then I will go for the next step is discussing with questions. Okay. Can you see now? I am sharing the screen.
Yeah, sir. We
Okay.
can see.
Okay. Dear students, this is a way of asking question. Just explain some questions selected from previous examination and also new questions. I will discuss one by one. Just listen carefully. And topic only human reproduction and reproductive health. That's all. First question. Match column 1 and match column 2 definition is there. Terms and definition. Select the correct option from the code given below. Just read out the option and also column 2. Don't give answer. I will discuss. So what your answer? Let us see what is your option, correct option for this question. First of all, parturition. I have already told that in discussion period. That is parturition actually process of childbirth. Is it correct? So it is present actually in the option 3, delivery of the baby. Okay. So our option A, delivery of baby is correct. So where do you find A, column number A for option A, it is 3 here. But other remaining, just without this, you can choose directly without any confusion D, because parturition directly indicates delivery of the baby. But here, option 2, that is parturition is release of egg from follicle, wrong, it is ovulation actually. And gestation is a period of growth, that is period of between the pregnancy to birth. Implantation means attachment of zygote, and conception means that is become pregnant. Okay, that is formation of zygote by the fusion of egg and sperm. But stoppage of ovulation and maturation, that we called as menopause. Okay, but here menopause is not mentioned. So for this question, answer is D. So option D is correct. Okay, clear? Next. Question number 2. In normal pregnant woman, the amount of total gonadotropin activity was assessed. The result expected was. What is this? Actually, for question number 2, just remember, in the pregnant woman, total gonadotropin activity is assessed. The result what happened? In normal pregnancy, pregnancy can be confirmed by detecting the presence of SED. Okay. Suppose if the woman is pregnant or not pregnant, how can you confirm? Just taking a blood and urine and indicating the presence of SED, then it is confirmed that is pregnant. So, pregnant of woman is only confirmed directly by taking blood and urine. Suppose the blood and urine contain that HCG. HCG means human chorionic gonadotropin that actually produced by placenta after implantation. So the function of HCG maintaining corpus luteum. So corpus luteum generally produces two hormones, that is estrogen and progesterone. So actually for this question, answer is high level of circulating FSH wrong. Actually, FSH and LH indicate ovulation in woman, and SCG stimulate endocrine thickening. It is also wrong. And the level of HCG and LH uterus stimulate endometrial thickening wrong. And actually, D is the correct answer. High level of circulating HCG stimulate estrogen and progesterone. Clear? So for this question, option is D, because I have told that HCG is only confirmed only by taking blood and urine to confirm whether woman is pregnant or not. So once the HCG is confirmed, so that stimulates formation of corpus luteum. Then the corpus luteum produces estrogen and progesterone hormone. Okay. Next. Here one the diagram is there. Diagram is there. Actually, this diagram is clearly understood how once the egg is produced, after fertilization, it becomes zygote. Zygote becomes undergo cleavage. 2 cell is formed. 2 become 4 cell. 4 become 8 cell. 8 to 16. 16 that become morula state. Morula means number of cells. They are arranged just like a mulberry fruit. They resemble life. That's why their name is given morula. Morula they convert into that is blastocyst. So this blastocyst having outermost layer called as trophoblast, inner cavity called as blastocele, and there are mass of cell present called as inner mass cell. So just remember the trophoblast helps in implantation and formation of extra embryonic membrane, that is amnion and chorion. Then inner mass cell that develops into future embryo. So we can easily understood by following this development stages. Late morula stage it is like this, but here it is not. Actually, option is C, blastocyst, that site of occurrence where in the region of uterine wall at the time of implantation. Okay, but here late morula, middle part of fallopian, okay, but it is not a diagram of morula. Blastula, end part of fallopian tube. So blastula in early stage, it do not have any inner mass cell. That means the fully developed, not fully developed. That's why it is wrong. So actually, option is blastocyst. Okay. Next. Fourth question. Which of the following is the correct matching of events occurring during menstrual cycle? Actually, menstrual cycle, what is menstrual cycle? So here one the representation I will give. menstrual cycle is the process in which a cyclic changes that occurs in the female reproductive tract in associated with the releasing of unfertilized eggs. It is having three phases. Number one, first phase is bleeding phase. In the first in 1 month, the first 5 days that we call as bleeding phase or menses, and then up to 19 days that we call as proliferative phase. That means formation of follicles, and ovulatory phase begins at the 14th day. That means egg is released only on 14th day. After that, secretory phase, that is luteal phase, formation of corpus luteum. So these are the three phases of menstrual cycle. Number one, bleeding phase, proliferative phase, and secretory phase. So here the question is, which is the correct matching of the events? See.
Sir, 1 second, sir. So voice is breaking, sir. Little bit louder.
Yes, sir.
Voice is breaking, sir. Voice is breaking.
Okay. Now you can hear properly now.
Yeah, better, sir. Better.
Okay. Can you understood the topic now clearly? I think you understand the topic what I have.
So there is one question from the student. The question is,
yes.
Sir, you can please hormones releases by placenta and its function.
Placenta. Okay. Once again, actually, placenta intimate connection between the maternal tissue and fetal tissue. Okay. After implantation, one wall is formed. That is called as placenta. So this placenta performs different functions. One is it supplies oxygen from mother to fetus. It supplies nutrients from mother to fetus. It removes carbon dioxide and nitrogen from fetus to mother. It do not allow any toxic substances. It acts like a temporal liver. And main function of placenta, secreting hormones. So it releases HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin. So this hormone necessary for the maintaining pregnancy. Suppose if this hormone not released perfectly in the woman, continuous abortion you notice in that woman. So that's why HCG plays important role to maintain pregnancy. And indication of pregnancy is also depend upon the presence of that hormone in blood and urine. So I already discussed in that last question. HCG is important hormone. And HPL means human placental lactogen. So this hormone necessary to production of milk in the mammary gland. So at the time of implantation, at the time of pregnancy, mammary gland also start preparation of milk production. So that is one process we notice in female after pregnancy. That process is performed by that HPL. After that, estrogen, progesterone, and one more hormone is relaxin. So the relaxin is produced only after complete growth of fetus. Okay. Next, shall I move on next question?
Sir, there is a student name is Iremat. Student name is Iremat. They have the doubt on fourth question, sir. Can you repeat once again, sir?
Then now I am discussing. Okay. Fourth question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So once again, I repeat. Listen carefully. Here, correct events that the menstrual cycle. I have already told that menstrual cycle having three phases. Number one, bleeding phases. Okay, that we menses we call as menses. In 1 month, 1 to 3 days, actually 5 days we are taking. 1 to 5 days there is a bleeding. That bleeding means removal of unfertilized egg with blood and mucus and part of endometrium. That's all. After that, what happens? The egg production begins. That egg undergo formation of follicular process. That the primary follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary follicle. After that, what happens? The tertiary follicle rupture and release that ovum. So that we call that ovulation. that occur on the 14th day of menstrual cycle, because at that time, FSH and LH release at the peak level in the pituitary gland. So that is called as sexual urge in the female. Okay. Then after that, if the fertilization not occur, the egg gradually, slowly converts into carbon release from the ovary. For that, one more process is begin, that is the ruptured part, whatever present in the ovary, that is corpus luteum. That means Graafian follicle converts into corpus luteum, that is luteal phase. Corpus luteum generally it acts as an endocrine gland and secretes hormone called as estrogen and progesterone. So later on, it converts into corpus albicans. Again, one cycle begins, another cycle that continuously occurs in the female. But here, proliferative phase actually is wrong, because rapid generation of myometrium and the maturation of Graafian follicle not occurs. Proliferative phase only here, proliferative phase regeneration of endometrium, but here myometrium wrong. Secretory phase development of corpus luteum and increased secretion of progesterone. This period is correct. Then menstruation, breakdown of myometrium is wrong. Menstruation begins with the breakdown of endometrium. So instead of endometrium, myometrium is there. That's why it is wrong. And ovum is not fertile, okay. But ovulation, LH and FSH attain peak level, but sharp fall of secretion progesterone. It is wrong. FSH and LH peak level, then only ovulation begins, but progesterone still not produced from the process that period. Okay, for question number 4, correct option is B. Secretory phase is the correct. Next. Here one diagram is there. See, the structure of sperm. So indication of different labels. A. From the A, what is there? A indicates nucleus. A is nucleus, it is wrong, because B is the nucleus, actually B nucleus. But A is actually, it is acrosome. But here option A is wrong. Instead of A, acronucleus is wrong. Don't see the next go to the B. A acrosome, okay, confirmed it is. B nucleus is also confirmed. A is acrosome, B is also nucleus. C plasma membrane, but actually plasma membrane should be like this. It should be like this. Okay, not then D mitochondria. So another name of arrangement of that mitochondria in the middle piece, just remember, it is Nebenker. It is not mentioned in your textbook, but it is in a high CBSE book. So please make a note. Nebenker, the person who discovered that mitochondria in the mitochondria, so the name is given Nebenker. Nebenker, K-E-R-N. Okay. Next. So option is, and E is plasma membrane. Okay. Outer layer is plasma membrane. So for this question, B is correct. But in C, A nucleus correct, okay. But B is not mitochondria. In D, acrosome, it is wrong. That's why B is option correct for this question. Clear? Next. Question number 6. Given below are the 3 statements, each with 2 blanks. Select option which correctly fill up a blank in any 2 statements. So that is one important question. It takes time to solve this. So within 1 minute you have to finish. Okay. In your exam, either in CET or NET. So don't waste the time. So please concentrate on the question and try to answer within 1 minute. So read out the questions. Option A. Is seminiferous tubule is lying down inside by two types of cell called 1 and 2. What are that? That is actually answer is germinal cell and Sertoli cell. Okay. I will show where is there. Then in the seminiferous tubules open into where 1 and 2. That actually seminiferous tubules opens to that is retetestis and seminiferous which one? Vasa efferentia. I will show it where. And C, the enlarged end penis called as gland penis, and it is covered with skin called as foreskin. It is covered by loose foreskin called, and that is 2. Gland penis is the answer for this, and foreskin is correct. Okay, where is there the correct option for these statements? In A option, actually in option A is the correct answer. For A, one was different. It is wrong. Urethral meter wrong, because seminiferous lying inside by two types of cell, that is germinal cell and Sertoli cell. Instead of that, there is a question. The answer is what happens, and that is wrong. Spermatogonia, follicular cell. But the opposite. Actually, it is wrong. In B, what happens? C1 gland penis, okay, and foreskin, okay. For this, 1 and 2, vasa efferentia we take it. So, in the B, we can easily identify the correct statement and also blank. Okay. So for B is correct. In the C, what happens? See, in A, 1 is spermatogonia is there. Wrong. Sertoli cell is okay. But spermatogonia and Sertoli cell okay, we can do. But in for seminiferous tubules, wrong. Urethral meatus and scrotum. But it is not a tube. It is fact. So option C is wrong. And D, 1 spermatocyte, oogonia. But oogonia is not here because seminiferous tubule related with male, but oogonia is the female. That's why it's wrong. So option B is the correct for this question. So that is one clear answer for this question. Okay, next we will move on to next question.
Shukumar sir?
Yes, sir.
Sir, little bit louder, sir. Voice little bit louder. Be louder, sir.
I will speak loudly.
Yeah, sir. Be louder, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Now you can listen properly. See.
Yeah. Now it's okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Perfect.
Okay. Okay. Seventh one. Match the following columns and select the correct option. Here, placenta is there, zona pellucida, bulbourethral gland, and Leydig cell. So these are all parts of our male reproductive part and female reproductive part. Placenta is a connection between the mother and fetus. Actually, it secretes hormone, human chorionic gonadotropin. For option A is 2 is correct. Zona pellucida, it is a layer of ovum, outer layer of inner layer of ovum or egg. Bulbourethral gland, actually it secretes mucus for lubrication of penis. A Leydig cell, it secretes male androgen, that is testosterone. So for this question, correct option is where, which one? Here is wrong, but A, 1 wrong, B 4, that's why it's wrong. In B, A3, okay, but A2, it should be A2, it is also wrong. But in C, option A2, okay, B3, zona pellucida, layer of ovum, okay, correct. Bulbourethral gland, secrete mucus, that is lubrication of penis, that is also correct. Leydig cell, it secretes androgen. So then, for this question, C the correct answer. Okay. Then Question number 8. Select the correct sequence for transport of sperm cells in male reproductive system. So that already I have shown in the diagram in the testes. Just look at the diagram. In the testes, number of testicular lobules, seminifertibules are there in that lobules. That seminifertibules opens into retained testes, and retained testes connected to vas efferentia. From the vas efferentia, it opens to epididymis. From epididymis to vas deferens. So that is the correct path of movement of sperm. And vas deferens opens to ejaculatory duct. From ejaculatory duct to urethra. Okay. Suppose if the student correctly knowing the diagram, we can answer. For this question, correct option in the A, seminifertibules okay, retained testis okay, vas efferentia is also okay, epididymis correct, vas deferens correct, ejaculatory duct, urethra, and urethral meatus means the tip of the penis. The tip of the penis, there is enlarged part of that is urethra that we call as urethral meatus. So that is one point you have to know. Urethral meatus, the tip of the penis. Okay. So option is correct. But in B, seminifertibule directly it goes to vas efferentia instead of retained testis is not mentioned here. That's why it is wrong. In C, testis, but the testis actually producing seminifertibules, but directly connected to it is wrong. And in D, testis okay, but epididymis directly, it is also wrong. So correct fourth path is seminifertibules, retained testis, vas efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, and ejaculated duct, urethra, and urethral meatus. For this question, option is A. So it's already asked in 2019 in CET. Here, next. Ninth question. Which of the following depicts the correct pathway of the transport of sperm? Again, the same question. According to eighth question, it is same. Retained testis. Okay. Efferent ductules, that means vas efferentia. It is also called as efferent ductules. Epididymis connected to epididymis and vas deferens. So this is correct. But in the B, retained testis, epididymis. But vas deferentia or vas efferentia is not mentioned here. So vas efferentia is also called as efferent ductules. So efferent ductules, it is opposite the direction. That is wrong. Vas deferens. But epididymis connected to vas deferens. So that's by B is wrong. And C also, retained testis, vas deferens directly connected. What is the wrong? Efferent ductules, but it is retained testis is not mentioned. It is a reverse connection. That's why it's wrong. So option A is correct for the ninth question. So which of the following depicts the correct pathway of transport of sperm? Retained testis, efferent ductules, epididymis, and vas deferens. Next. Question number 10. Here one diagram is there, but the 10th question is the shared terminal duct of the reproductive urinary system in the human male. The shared terminal duct, that means the common duct for urethra and urinary bladder and reproductive part. So in the male, suppose the urinary bladder is there, that connected to ureter from the kidney. Ureter is not a common passage for this reproductive urinary, but is the passage only for urine. It opens to urinary bladder. urinary bladder opens urethra. This urethra passes out during okay, but reproductive part is also on this urinary bladder that is connected, that is ejaculatory duct and semen vesicle, and it opens to the same path, that is urethra. So this urethra is a common passage for both urinary system and also reproductive system. So option is A is correct. Okay. But vas deferens is not common duct. Vas deferens is also not common duct for urinary and reproductive system. Next, 11th question. Here one diagrammatic representation of female reproductive system. Just observe this. Depict diagrammatic section view of the female reproductive system of human, which one set of 3 parts of A to F have been correctly identified. That's all.
Ashwin
Let
sir,
us see one
sorry
by one.
for interruption.
Yes, sir.
Small doubt from the student.
Yes.
Efferent dustless meaning. What is the meaning of efferent dustless? He's asking.
Efferent means receiving. Afferent means going. These ducts receiving sperm from the retate testes.
Okay.
Retate testes collect the sperm from seminiferous tubules. Okay. Seminiferous tubules where structural and functional unit where sperms are produced.
Okay.
After the production of sperm, they move toward the retate testes and they collect it to vasa efferentia. Actually, it is collecting duct, not receiving, not afferent.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Move. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. A, just remember, A is endometrium. Actually, wall of uterus, perimetrium, myometrium, endometrium. Here, A is endometrium. B is myometrium. And E, that is actually cervix. Okay. And there is fimbriae. And C is ampulla. F, that is vaginal passage. But here, we will confirm with this. Let us see one by one. What is there in A? C, infundibulum. C, infundibulum. Okay, it is correct, but D, fimbriae. Okay, it is also correct. But E, cervix. Actually, E is wrong. V is correct, but let us see one by one. C, infundibulum. But here C is not infundibulum, it is an ampulla. D is infundibulum. But D is fimbriae. But question of diagram is not correctly visible. Question is one doubt here. I will clear one by one later on. C, infundibulum. Okay. Infundibulum include ampulla and fimbriae. Okay. So this part, infundibulum, we can give correct mark for this. D, fimbriae. Okay. But E, cervical canal. Actually, myometrium part, cervix is here, but it is wrong. That's why A is wrong. In B, oviductal funnel. B is oviductal funnel. It is fimbriae. D is fimbriae. Oviductal funnel, this one, but that's why it's wrong. Then C, A, perimetrium. No, it is not perimetrium. It is endometrium. Perimetrium means is outer layer. That's why it's wrong. And other myometrium, B, myometrium, okay, but A is wrong. But in D, B, endometrium, okay. Actually, A is endometrium. B is myometrium. So our option is, I think, wrong. First one is correct. A is correct. Infundibulum, fimbriae, and cervix. Actually, they're indicating the mark for this is E. That is cervix Okay, we can do fertile. But here is wrong. So for this question, A is correct answer. In D, it is myometrium, but it is endometrium is mentioned. A is endometrium, B is myometrium. That's why D is also wrong. What is the doubt for Pooja? Pooja asking some doubt.
Yeah, sir. E is not cervix in option A.
Option A.
Yes, sir.
Cervix.
So yes, sir, cervix.
Okay. We can select that question, sir. Answer.
Okay. Oh, okay. I think Pooja, it's clear.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. But in a diagram, it is not correctly mentioned, but we can confirm. Okay. The A is correct.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you.
Okay, okay. Next. We'll move on to next question. Question number 12. The testes in humans are situated outside the abdominal cavity inside the pouch called scrotum. Okay. The purpose served is for just that for the production of sperm, it should maintain less than the body temperature up to 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade. That's why testes are located outside the body and protected by scrotum. Is there answer for this question? Escaping any possible compression by visual organ, wrong. Providing more space for the growth of epidermis, it is also wrong. Actually, pouch is where evidence also present, but it does not require so many spaces. And providing secondary sexual features exhibiting the male sex, it is also wrong. And maintaining the scrotal temperature lower than the internal body temperature, that is 2 to 2.5 degrees centigrade. So option D is correct. Okay. Next. Question number 13. Given below is a diagrammatic sketch. That is actually male reproductive system representation. Again, we will choose correct answer. Let us see one by one. A actually is was difference. B actually it is semen and vesicle. C actually it is semen and prostate gland. Actually, but prostate gland it should be like this. This prostate gland, but B and C both are here. C is prostate gland, and D is actually bulbourethral gland. Okay. These are the four parts. But here for option A, ureter, wrong. Ureter actually it is coming from kidney connected to urinary bladder. But here is not mentioned. But A is was different actually. But that's why it's wrong. In A, in B, was difference, okay. B, semen and vesicle, okay. C, prostate gland, okay. And D, bulbourethral gland. I think B is wrong. B is correct. Let us confirm with C. Was difference, okay. But semen and vesicle also okay. But here, C is not bulbourethral gland. So bulbourethral gland actually present below the prostate gland. Okay, that's why it's wrong. In D option, ureter, wrong. Actually, directly it is wrong. That's why option is correct for this question. Clear? Next. Gametogenesis actually another topic. Gametogenesis, mesocycle, and the hormone content. Question 14. Select the correct option of the haploid cells from the following groups. So in spermatogenesis, oogenesis, just remember that germinal cells that present in testes and ovary, both are diploid in nature. Okay, they have two sets of chromosomes. In human, actually, we have 46 chromosomes. Okay, so that is diploid in nature. But at the time of spermatogenesis, at the time of oogenesis, it undergo dividing. For example, in the phase of multiplication, what happens? Again, diploid cells are produced, that is primary spermatocyte. It is also diploid. Then primary divide into two, that is secondary spermatocyte. So then it is haploid, that is secondary spermatocyte. it is haploid. Then second spermatocyte divides into number of spermatids. They are also haploid in nature. Then haploid these spermatid grow into sperm. Okay, but here they are asking haploid cells. Okay, then ovary, germinal cells, they are diploid, oogonia diploid, and stage at the stage of growth and multiplication, the primary oocyte also diploid, and in the growth phase, in the first meiosis, one polar body is formed, and another one second spermatocyte is formed. So that is haploid. Then again it divide, again second polar body produced and OT dot produced. That is haploid. So in this situation, haploid cells, let us see one by one. The primary oocyte is diploid. That is wrong. That's why it is wrong. Directly we move on to B. Second is spermatocyte, that is haploid. Okay. First polar body, they also haploid. Ovum already haploid. So I think B is the correct answer. But let us see in the C. Spermatogonia is diploid. Primary spermatocyte is diploid, but spermat is only haploid. But that's why it is wrong. Then in D, primary spermatocyte is diploid, secondary spermatocyte that is haploid, second polar body haploid. But here diploid is one is primary oocyte, that's why it is also wrong. So here for haploid cells, you have to select for B. Next. Question number 15. Match the following columns and select the correct option from the codes given below. Ovary, placenta, corpus luteum, Leydig cells. The function and organs there. Ovary function, you know that. Wait. Ovary function, production of estrogen, progesterone. Placenta, actually, it is a human chorionic gonadotropin, that is HCG is produced from placenta. Corpus luteum, it is produce progesterone after ovulation. And Leydig cell, male androgen. So this is the correct matching between these two. Let us see what is there in A. For A, 4, okay. But for ovary, progesterone only wrong. It is wrong. Instead of 2, it is there 4. That's right, wrong. For ovary, estrogen, progesterone. But for this question, directly go for D, because option A indicates 2 is the answer. And confirm this B, placenta, human chorionic 1, okay. C, fourth one, Leydig cell, androgen, that is testosterone, okay. And D, 3. Which one? D3. D, Leydig cell, 3, sorry, okay. But C, corpus luteum, progesterone only. Oh, that's why directly go with D. That is D as the correct option. What others are wrong? Clear? Next. There are these questions that are already asked in 2020. Most of them, they are tough questions. Next one, 16. Which of the following hormone levels will cause release of ovum ovulation from the Graafian follicle? Actually, high concentration of progesterone. No, it is an indication of pregnancy. Wrong. Low concentration of LH. No. Then low concentration of FSH. Wrong. High concentration of estrogen. So this hormone generally, actually, FSH and LH, they are in peak level from the pituitary gland. Actually, options, I think, wrong. Which of the following hormones cause release from the ovum ovulation from the Graafian follicle? High concentration of progesterone, but estrogen is also considered as a ovulation. But in the textbook, there's some mentioned estrogen, FSH, released from the pituitary gland. But ovulation actually from the ovary, it is released through estrogen. Okay. So for this question, option D is, we can select that question. We can select that answer. Next one, 17. Meiotic division of the secondary oocyte completed. This is very important question. So many in the past years they are asked this question. Actually, during fertilization, what happens? Once the ovulation occurs, the egg is released at the stage of second oocyte, that's all. But it will not undergo complete process until fertilization. So during oogenesis, once the oogonia produced, later on it undergo mitotic division, produces number of oogonia, and each any one oogonia become enlarged, and during that growth period become enlarged due to accumulation nutrient, and it undergo meiotic division, first meiotic, and divides into secondary oocyte. Okay, but secondary oocyte, it do not undergo further process until the sperm reach and penetrate. So at the time of penetration of sperm, then only secondary spermatocyte suddenly it undergo formation of oocyte. So that's why you have to remember this point. At the time of copulation, wrong. After zygote formation, it is also wrong. And at the time of fusion of sperm with an ovum. So this is the main important answer for this question. Okay. So prior to ovulation, it is also wrong. Then question number 18. No new follicle develops in the luteal phase of menstrual cycle because at the time of menstrual cycle, no further follicle develops. Why? There is one process. Actually, because of FSH and LH levels are low in the luteal phase. But in ovulation, it is high because of in the luteal phase, it is decreased. So in the graphical representation, there is a text in the textbook, there is a diagram for menstrual cycle representation. Just go through that diagram, you will notice that process. So for this question, both FSH and LH level decrease at a low in the luteal phase. That's why further egg not produced until the process is completed. Once the process complete, menstrual cycle complete, then only egg is produced. So follicles do not remain in the ovary after ovulation. Follicles after ovulation, what happens? They remain. They convert into corpus luteum. So this option is wrong. FSH level are high in the luteal phase, but FSH occurs in ovulatory phase. That's why it is wrong. LH levels high in the luteal phase, but decrease. In LH, it will decrease. But FSH LH only increase at the time of ovulation. There is question, why ovulation occurs on 14th day? What is the reason? In every woman, only 14th day is exhibited because of at that time only 24 hours the sexual urge increases because of the production of FSH and LH in pituitary gland. So that urge the sexual process in female, raising temperature, and some reason is there. Next question, 19th. What is the fate of the male gamete discharged in the synergids? But actually, this question is not related with human reproduction because synergids. Anybody? Can you give the name of the synergid? Where do you find synergid is comes under human reproduction? No, actually, it is a part of sexual reproduction flowering plant. I don't know why this question is here, but just remember, 19th question actually it is a part of sexual reproduction flowering plant because synergids is a part of embryo sac. So in the female gametophyte, there are 8 cells are present. One cell on Daya and they are called as antipodals. These are called antipodals. And 2 cells, 2 nucleus at the center, they are called as polar nuclei or secondary nucleus. And 1 nucleus in the egg cell and another 2 cell nucleus in the synergid cell. That's why this embryo sac. So in the past exam, they ask this question, explain the female gametophyte embryo sac. So these are synergids. Actually, synergids support penetration of pollen tube. Okay. After at the time of fertilization, the 2 gametes is released inside the embryo sac. First gamete fuses with egg cell that develops into the zygote. Then second gamete fuses with the second nucleus that develops into endosperm. That's why it is called as double fertilization and triple fusion. But here option is for this 19th is all fuse with egg wrong. One fuse with egg, another fuse with cell. That is wrong. Synergy is only supporting cell. That's all. But fuses with the egg cell and other with central cell of nucleus. So option C is correct, but it is not related with this. But I can conclude this one with this answer. Okay, that's all. Clear? Next. Question number 20. Extrusion of second polar body from egg nucleus occurs. What is that? What is extrusion? Once the process begins in the oogenesis, at the time of formation of primary oocyte, secondary oocyte, polar body is formed, and separation of that polar body generally occurs from the egg after fertilization, not before fertilization. After fertilization, it separates. Okay, this is one process in fertilization. Just remember, the polar body generally attached to egg in the region called as animal pole. So after fertilization, they will extrude. Then next question. 21. Question 21. Match items given in column 1 with those in column 2 and select the correct option.
Sir, sorry for interruption. One more question. What is extraction, sir?
Sir, not extraction, no, extrusion. Extraction means preparation.
Okay.
Extrusion means separating.
Separating. Okay. Okay, sir.
Extrusion means dissolving, separation of the coming out. They are the meaning of extrusion.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Student was asking it.
Okay. Question number 21. Proliferative phase, secretory phase, menstrual phase. These are the stages of menstrual cycle. In proliferative phase, what happens? Generally, follicle begins. Follicular formation occurs. Okay. In secretory phase, that is luteal phase begins, and menstrual phase, breakdown of endometrial lining. Because of that, mucus and blood will come. So for this option, A 1, 2 is correct. Then 2, 3 is also correct. 3, 1 is correct. So option directly is correct for this question. But in option B, for question number 1 is wrong. Proliferative phase, breaking down wrong. Menstrual phase is a breaking down of endometrial lining. So the breaking blood will come from the uterus chamber. C, 3 wrong, 3 wrong. Actually, A is correct answer. Next one. A temporary endocrine gland in the human body. Actually, we have two glands in our body, endocrine and exocrine. Actually, exocrine gland means those glands having duct. Suppose any gland, they have duct in the gland. Through the duct, whatever the product is produced in the gland, it is passed out through the duct. That is called as exocrine gland. So we can give a lot of example. That means lacrimal gland, that tear, that secrete tear, sweat gland secrete sweat, salivary gland secrete saliva, milk gland secrete milk, liver bile juice, it is passes through duct, pancreas also secrete pancreas, there is duct. These are all example for exocrine gland. But the endocrine gland means they produce only hormones without duct. They don't have any duct. Just they have gland, but without duct, they are called as endocrine gland. So endocrine function is production of only hormone. So we have so many endocrine in our body. That is pituitary gland, pineal gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, thymus gland, adrenal gland, testes, and ovary. These are also group of endocrine glands. Pituitary gland secretes so many hormones. Pineal gland secrete melatonin. Thyroid gland secrete thyroxine. Parathyroid gland secrete parathormone. Thyroid gland secrete thymosin. Thymus gland secrete thymosin. Adrenal gland secrete adrenaline. Testes secrete androgen. Ovary produces the estrogen and progesterone. But here, temporary endocrine gland. These are regular endocrine gland. This one, corpus caudum, it is not a part of gland. Corpus luteum, it is a part of ovary. Ovary in the female, it is not regular endocrine gland. It is a temporary because after ovulation, the rupture part of graphene follicle that converts into endocrine part. That is why it is a corpus luteum is the temporary endocrine gland. It secretes hormone, estrogen and progesterone. That's why C is the correct option. Corpus allantum, they are not part of glands. Okay, that's all. Next question number 23. Select the incorrect statement. Incorrect statement. LH and FSH trigger ovulation ovary. Okay. LH and FSH decrease gradually during the follicular phase. That is also correct. If LH triggers secretion of androgen from Leydig cells, FSH stimulates Sertoli cells, which helps spermiogenesis. Actually, this is wrong. FSH actually stimulates production of androgen in male, production of ovulation in formation of ovulation female. But Sertoli cells is the cells providing nourishment to the sperm. After providing nourishment, the sperm will separate from the Sertoli cell. That process we call as permeation. But spermiogenesis is not the process. Actually, instead of spermiogenesis, spermiogenesis is wrong. The releasing of sperm from the Sertoli cell is called as permeation. But spermiogenesis means the spherical spermatid gradually become a tadpole-shaped sperm. That process we call as spermiogenesis. Okay, it takes time. Total days in the spermatogenesis for the formation of sperm, actual days is 70 days. From the beginning, up to formation of sperm, it takes 70 days. So at that time, 70 days, million sperm are produced. So that point is also note. Certainly cells provide nourishment, but okay, but it helps in not spermiogenesis, it helps in spermiation. Spermiation spelling, I will put SPR, spermiation. Spermiation. Releasing of sperm from the Sertoli cell. Okay. Next, question number 24. Identify the correct statement on inhibin. Inhibin means suppress secretion by pituitary is inhibin. Correct statement inhibin is produced by granulosa cells in ovary and inhibit secretion of FSH. Actually, after ovulation, once the ovulation begins, FSH and LH secrete in high peak, okay? Then ovulation occurs. After ovulation, suddenly the ovary, actually the cells present in that ovary, granular cells, inside the egg, graphene follicle is there. Graphene follicle covered with pisa externa, pisa interna, then membrana granulosa is there, one more layer, that having a space called as antrum. That antrum fills with estrogen progesterone. These membrana granulosa inhibit further production of FSH and LH. That is the process we notice. That's why A is correct. But it is produced by granulosa cells in ovary, okay, but inhibits secretion of LH. But FSH and LH, FSH is the main hormone, but LH is not related to this. C is produced by nerve cells. Nursing cell means Sertoli cell, testis. Inhibits secretion of LH. It is not involved in production of LH. Inhibits secretion of LH and LH and prolactin. So prolactin is not involved in this process. Okay. So option A is correct statement. Question number 25. Changes in GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. Pulse the frequency in females is controlled by circulating levels of gonadotropin releasing hormone. The hormone is from our hypothalamus. So this hormone regulates the pituitary gland. Then only pituitary gland produces FSH and LH. And these hormones regulate the process of ovulation and controlling production of androgen. So for 25th question, frequency in females, it is controlled circuit of estrogen and inhibin. Wrong. And progesterone only is also wrong. Progesterone inhibin, but inhibin produced by membrana granulosa. It is not from hypothalamus, and it controls estrogen and progesterone. Option D is correct. So if the gonadotropin releasing hormone variation occurs in the female, if the female not eat proper food, not eat nutrient food, then in the female irregular menstrual cycle begins because of this process. So you have to remember one point: gonadotropin releasing hormone secreted by hypothalamus. Then hypothalamus controls pituitary gland. Then pituitary gland produces FSH and LH. Then FSH LH acts on production of estrogen and progesterone both. Receptors for sperm binding in mammals are present on. It is a question related with fertilization. So sperm and egg, they attract each other because of a chemical. Okay. Receptors mean the same nerve cells that are present in the egg and the sperm. They release some chemical. That chemical is called as gametes. Sperm produce androgamete and sperm egg produce gynogamete. So both attract each other at the time of fertilization. So, but once the sperm reach the egg, it should bind with the egg because of presence of that chemical present on corona radiata. It is the first outermost layer on the egg. And inner zona pellucida, but it is non-cellular layer. And another layer vital membrane. Inside the vital membrane, plasma membrane. Then there is the ooplasm and nucleus is there. So first step of fertilization, attraction, then acrosomal reaction. Acrosomal reaction is performed by sperm on the outer layer called as corona radiata. So option, yes, yes.
Sir, sorry for interruption.
Yes.
Student Bhavana, she has one question.
Yes.
Please kindly explain inhibin.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Inhibin.
Yes, sir.
Inhibit.
Yeah.
Inhibit. If, for example, if the plant start growing, okay. Yeah. In the plant, some hormone is produced. That hormone promote the growth of plant. Okay. After growth, what happens? The growth of plant should be controlled and stopped. How it can stop? There's some hormones produced in the plant that we call as inhibitors. That inhibitor controls the growth of the plant. That is inhibition. Like that, in human body also, growth hormones is there. Pituitary gland controls growth hormone, but inhibin hormone that stops the production of growth hormone. Then only the person will not grow normally. Like that, the hormone production of hormones in the estrogen, progesterone, LH, FSH, everything. For example, FSH, LH, okay, it is a regulate ovulation. What happens after ovulation? Estrogen, progesterone is produced, but it will not continue. To stop that production of estrogen, progesterone, the whatever the cell present in the egg, that is corpus, for example, membrana granulosa, these cells secrete some chemical that triggers that our gland. Then pituitary gland will not produce further FSH and LH. So that's why it is called as inhibin. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Then next question. Capacitation occurs in. What is capacitation? Capacitation. Anybody? Capacitation means the ability of the sperm to fertilize the egg is called capacitation. So once the sperm starts moving through the vaginal passage after at the time of copulation, ejaculation occurs, insemination begins. After insemination, sperm starts moving toward the egg. But some sperm will not able to move up to the egg. That's why they are called as impotence and infertility. Because of variation in the sperm count and healthy sperm not available in that person, and so many reasons are there: azoospermia, oligospermia. Then because of smoking, alcohol, and drug addict, the sperms will not produce healthy. So in that person, we notice infertility. Okay, but suppose the person produce normal sperm, healthy sperm, then only the sperm is able to fertilize that egg. So those sperm will not fertilize that egg. We call that impotence. So that's why capacitation is the meaning where the sperm is able to fertilize the egg. But related with that question, capacitation is not begins with the retard testis. But retake testis is the part where sperms are collected, that's all. B, epidermis storage of sperm, that's all. But vast difference, the connection, it is a passage, the duct to conduct sperm, that's all. But female reproductive tract is the only place where sperms move. That's why D is the answer. So capacitation meaning related with female reproductive tract. Clear? Next. 28. Fertilization in human is practically feasible only if fertilization in human practically feasible only if, what is this? Actually, the process of beginning of fertilization occurs in female reproductive tract. Approximation gametes, acronym reaction, and cortical changes, everything is occurred in which part of the female reproductive tract? Actually, the question is here, the general fertilization generally occurs not in vaginal passage, not in uterus, not in ovary, but in the region of fallopian tube, especially in the ampulla. So there is a tube, this is ovary, sorry, this is uterus, uterine chamber, this is the oviduct, this is uterus chamber, this is the vaginal passage. Then this is ovary, this is wider part called as ampulla, where egg is released and waiting for sperm in this region. So sperm release, they start moving and they move towards egg and fertilization occur in this region. So that is the main process in fertilization. So this concept that gives answer. The ovum and sperms are transported simultaneously to the ambulatory ischemic junction of the fallopian tube. Then only fertilization occurs. But if the sperms not simultaneously and the egg is not is there, no fertilization. So option A is, I think it is correct. Let us see B. Ovum and sperms are transported simultaneously. Okay, the ambulatory ischemic junction of the cervix, not in cervix. Cervix is here, but egg is not found in this region. It is found in ambulatory region. And despite is wrong. In C, the sperms are transported into cervix within 48 hours. Release of ovum and uterus is also wrong. It is not in cervix region, in ambulatory region. So one point you have to note: once the egg is released and it released into ampulla, it remains in ampulla only 24 hours. Within 24 hours, if the sperms come, then fertilize. If the sperm will not come at the time of this 24 hours, it will not fertilize. So that's why every coitus will not lead to marriage because of this reason. Suppose a couple's married, suppose they undergo sexual intercourse, the one sexual intercourse will not lead to pregnancy because of this reason. Next question. So I think enough for this question. Next, I will begin with reproductive health. Shall I move on to reproductive health? Again, the question is repeated here. From 37 to 41, it is repeated, but some questions already cleared. There is some easy questions here. Colostrum 33. Colostrum, a yellowish fluid. Okay, it is initial milk secreted by mammary gland at the stage of lactation period. in the mother. So generally they contain immunoglobulin A. They rich antibodies present. That is one point you have to note. Then amnion of the mammalian embryo is derived from actually it is derived from ectoderm and endoderm. There is a derivatives in the embryo. From that we can conclude that answer. Now I will pass on to next topic, reproductive health. Some questions I will discuss now. Because time is not there. Some question repeated here. Okay. From 42, reproductive health. Actually, reproductive health is also one important topic related with that. So many problems we have in our society regarding with reproduction, because reproductive health means normal reproductive health and normal function, healthy reproductive organ with normal function. According to World Health Organization, the slogan is there: a state of well-being in all aspects of physical, mental, social, and behavioral, that we call that reproductive health. But in the reproductive health, we are going to discuss with the different process, that is population explosion, birth control, contraceptive, conception, contraceptives, then infertility, amniocentesis, STD, like that. So let us see one by one. In 42, which of the following is example of hormone in the IUD? So just I will give IUD is 4 types. IUD means intrauterine devices. A small devices, they are introduced into uterine chamber by doctors and expert nurses. So IUD's function, how IUD perform the contraceptive process. Contraception means becoming pregnancy, but contraceptive means the device is used for avoiding pregnancy. Contraceptive methods, there are so many methods: oral method, barrier method, IUD method. Out of that, IUD is one of the methods. Intrauterine device, a small device is used to avoid pregnancy. There are 3 types of IUD. One is non-medicated IUD, copper IUD, hormone releasing IUD. In non-medicated IUD, the example is lipis loop. And in copper IUD, CUT, CU7, and multi-load 375. And hormone IUD, progesterone and LNG20. But here, CUT is the copper IUD, LNG is the hormone IUD, CU7 is also copper IUD, multi-load 375 is a non-medicated IUD. Then the option is LNG20. Okay, next. 43. Progestogens alone or in combination with estrogen can be used as a contraceptive in the form of, sometimes, for example, estrogen and progesterone combined together to form progestogen. So these hormones used as a contraceptive. For example, in oral contraceptive, they are used, that is pills are used for avoiding pregnancy. Then injection and implants also used to avoid that in the pregnancy. But here option is implants only is wrong. Injection and pills also comes with that contraceptive contains hormone releasing. Injection only, but both implants and injection should be there. But here pills, injection, and implants. That's why option C is correct. But pills not only include. So these 3 actually produce control pregnancy by releasing hormones. Actually, pills, one is there, that is Saheli, that is once a week pill developed by CDRI, Central Drug Institute of Lucknow. That is developed once a pill. Actually, this pills contains the synthetic hormone. That hormones avoids ovulation. Next, which of the following state the correct statement? IUDs once inserted need not replace. A. IUDs are generally inserted by user herself. IUDs increase phagocytosis of sperm in uterus. IUDs suppress emergency. So out of this, I think C is correct because IUD once inserted, it should be replaced. 3 years or 5 years, it should be replaced. That is why it is wrong. IUD is generally not inserted by herself. It should be inserted by doctor by using some instrument. IUDs increase phagocytosis. Okay. Whenever the IUD present in the uterus, that avoids movement of sperm or also phagocytosis. What is phagocytosis? The engulfing process of sperm within the vaginal passage, because vaginal passage is covered with number of leukocytes. That leukocytes perform the functions of phagocytosis. That's why C is correct. But it suppresses gametogenesis. Naturally, even the IUD is inserted, the process of gametogenesis begins in female. That's why C is only correct. Next, select the hormone releasing intrauterine devices. These are group of different types of IUDs are there. Out of them, only they are asking hormone releasing IUD. Okay, which one? Here, multi-load is not hormone releasing. Progesterone hormone, okay. Here, progesterone hormone, LNG hormone, okay. This I think B is correct. Lipid slip is not hormone. Multi-load is both are non-hormone IUDs. Waltz, it is a barrier method. The diaphragm, the vaginal diaphragm. LNG20 is the only hormone, but being the B, both progesterone and LNG is the correct answer for this question. Let's Sangeeta, what is your doubt? Then, which of the following contraceptive methods do involve a role of hormones? Through the hormone level, the pregnancy is controlled. Barrier method is not hormonal method. Only condom and diaphragm and spermicidal jelly, they are barrier method. Lactation amenorrhea, hormonal control, because at the time of lactation period, hormone will not produce LH and FSH. That's why follicle formation not occur in the beginning of lactation period up to 6 to 8 months. Pills, okay, they are hormone control pills, but here barrier method is there. That's why A is wrong. CUT7, that is CUT copper using pills, okay. Emergency contraceptive. Emergency contraceptive means, what is emergency contraceptives? Suppose the couple undergo sexual process to avoid pregnancy, okay, but they are involved in the sexual process by accidentally, they have doubt to become pregnant, then that female undergo a process of emergency contraceptives. And that period, the doctor insert that IUDs, hormone in IUD, that hormone in IUD, suddenly it avoids implantation. Okay, but it should be inserted within 7 days. And one more emergency contraceptive is inserted. Suppose in the female, suppose they are involved in rape case, to avoid that pregnancy, actually that victim is also inserted with emergency contraceptives. That's why option B is wrong. C, pills okay, emergency contraceptives okay, barrier method wrong. Lactation amenorrhea, fail emergency contraceptive. So D is the correct option. D is the correct option for this question. Okay. Next. Next. Amniocentesis is one of the important questions you have to remember here. Amniocentesis is a technique in which the chromosomal pattern is studied to know whether the growing fetus is normal or abnormal. If there is any abnormality in the fetus, that can be detected by taking amniotic fluid in the pregnant woman in the first month. So at that time, they analyze the chromosome pattern and study the chromosomes, whether there is any problem. Suppose in the problem in the chromosome number, they confirm that the abnormal growth will be developed in the fetus. So amniocentesis is one method. Okay, detect number of disorders. It also determines sex also. It is used to parental sex discrimination. Okay, correct. It can be used for detection of Down syndrome. It is a genetic disorder. Down syndrome means addition of an extra chromosome in the 21st chromosome number. Instead of 46, there will be 47. Then the child becomes Down syndrome child. That shows some mental retardedness. So many symptoms are there in the child. Then it also detected cleft palate wrong. Actually, cleft palate means so we called as now ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಸೀಳು ತುಟಿ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಸೀಳು ತುಟಿ. That is splits in the roof of mouth and lip. That is called as cleft palate. That is called it cannot detected in the amniocentesis. Okay, that's why this option is correct for this question. And it is usually done when woman between 14 to 16 weeks pregnant. Within 1.5 to 3 months, it will be detected. Which of the following is incorrect regarding vasectomy? Some question regarding tubectomy and vasectomy. Vasectomy and tubectomy. Vasectomy means a surgical operation is made in male, just cutting and tying up vas deferens to avoid movement of sperm. That avoids pregnancy in male. That means avoids fertilization. Tubectomy, a small portion of the fallopian tube is cut and tied in female that avoids the fusion of sperm and egg. Incorrect regarding vasectomy. No sperm occur in semen and fluid. Even the vasectomy, sperm is found in semen and fluid. No sperm. It's one incorrect, but it's correct. In the vasectomy, sperm will not move. That's why only semen will pass out, but it does not contain sperm. No sperm occur in epididymis. No sperm occur in. It is wrong because vas deferens is made in upper part of epididymis, but in the testis, sperm is produced. They move from vas deferens and stored in epididymis. The question is here: what happens after production of the sperm in the vasectomy in the person? It will not harmful to any part of the body. It will not cause any damage to body, but it is energy. It is nothing but a protein. That's why it is dissolved almost inside the body. So that's why it will not give side effect in vasectomy. So So sperm occurs in the epidermis, but this one is incorrect. Vasa deferens is curtain type. This is the correct answer for vasectomy, but it is also correct. But option wrong is incorrect. No sperm occur in epidermis. It is irreversible sterility. It is a type of irreversible sterility in male. Okay. Some questions I have discussed in this period. So time over. Sir, law. Sir, shall I close? Okay. I will stop here. Next, I will continue next class. Take care. Bye.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your presence and
Okay.
your class. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Dear students, today we are going to end up the class. We'll meet you tomorrow morning, sharp 8 o'clock. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.